I just got back from the maiden voyage of the Celebrity Xcel. I had a fantastic time. So this video is not going to be bashing the ship. If that's what you're looking for, you're not going to find it here. But I am going to give you a very honest review of what I loved and what I did not love, and what I think they could honestly do better. But overall, I had a fantastic time on the Celebrity Xcel, so we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna give you a nice review, and I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks that I learned to really enjoy the voyage on the Xcel. Let's get into it. I was delighted to be on the maiden voyage of the Celebrity Xcel, November 18th through the 23rd of 2025. I've been planning that trip for ages, ages and ages. I had the time of my life. I'm going to go over the ship, the staff, the entertainment, the amenities, the room, and the overall experience. For each category, we're gonna talk about what's nice and what I didn't like and where I feel like they can improve. Oh my gosh, and yeah, we're gonna talk about the food too. All right, but let's start with the ship. So this is my first ever celebrity cruise, and the Xcel is the newest of the Edge class ships, and she was beautiful. The vibe is very, I'm gonna say, understated modern elegance, right? They're clean lines, lots of gold and natural hues mixed in. It's really refined and elegant without being like super stuffy. So you feel like you're in a smart, classy, welcoming, inviting, vibey spot. So the ship in and of itself was gorgeous, and each space had its own theming. The bazaar was so cool. It wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be, but they had this little market space where you could meander through, so it was windy. They had kiosks where you could purchase clothing, knickknacks and things that were real nice from vendors from the ports, you know, that we would be visiting. The bazaar, I loved it. I thought it was so cool. They have this really neat LED tunnel. It's actually kind of warm when you walk through, because it's like lit. That thing must be very, I don't know how they power it. It, I'm sure, requires a lot of energy, because I have a lot of LED screens like in the hallway walking through the bazaar. But then also in the bazaar, the way that they change the vibe is they have these LED awnings that have, like, one day during the Aqua Festival, it had ocean waves rolling in and rolling out. It was really beautifully decorated. And another cool thing about the ship is that they had all these little spots, nooks to get away. Like on deck 5, right outside of the bazaar, there was like a nice promenade sitting area. The bazaar had an upper level with chairs and tables. The Grand Plaza had several seating areas. The cafe was the hangout spot. The cafe was a hangout spot. The cafe on deck 4 was the hangout spot all the time. People over there working, chatting, talking, playing games, all that kind of thing. Never like super loud and rowdy. The club, so cool. So it was very communal. That's like one thing that I noticed about this cruise above all others. And maybe it was because it was such, it was my first mainly adult cruise. There were kids on the ship. I saw like a few families with little kids, a few, and maybe like 30 children the entire time I was on the ship. And it was a fully booked cruise. Anyway, that being said, the ship itself, very classy, very cool vibe on the pool deck, and then going up to the rooftop garden. Like, so many spaces. On sea days, if you looked, you could find a good nook to hang out. And I loved the Ocean View Cafe. The chairs were plush, the touches, the lighting, the artwork, everything was like beachy, cool, relaxing. Like, you really feel like somebody. The vibe that they give you in the video, I feel the dun, 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 oh, like that whole, I feel brand new, like they bring that vibe to the ship. Getting an elevator anytime, embarkation day, disembarkation day, hectic nights with shows and people living it up on the cruise ship. Never had a hard time getting an elevator. So I personally felt like the ship was really laid out well, and everything flowed naturally. Going with my normal rating system, 1 out of 5 palm trees, I'm going to give the ship a 5. Spaces are beautiful. There was always I saw people everywhere, relaxing and just soaking in the vibes and living their best life. I loved it. It was beautiful. It was relaxing. It was just big enough to go different places and different spaces and have a different experience every day if you wanted to, but not so big that it was overwhelming, and it didn't take too long to get anywhere. And I could always find a spot to rest and relax and quiet if I wanted that. Here's one of the main reasons why the pool deck was so nice. The ship was so nice. They were always cleaning. And that is one of the biggest differences between my experience on Celebrity and any other cruise. Even with the cruises that I've loved, nobody cleans a cruise ship and keeps it maintained, has so far that I've experienced, like Celebrity does. On the pool deck, when I got out of my chair, got out of the pool, sat on my chair, within like 5 or 10 minutes, someone was coming over and mopping up the water beside me where I just was. Clean all the time. Yeah, so for the ship, definitely I'm giving it a 5, hands down. Staff and service. I enjoyed the staff, especially like the dining staff was top notch for me. They were the friendliest of everyone, really sweet, very easy to talk to, just nice and fun. I never had a staff, except for Bora. They were still nice, but they looked really stressed out in there. I'm not gonna lie. But in the main dining room, and I went to Mosaic one night for dinner, they were always sweet, always a smile. The cafe, Ocean View Cafe, the buffet, they were so efficient there. Like, I was by myself, so I would take my bag when I would go to get more food. And there was one morning where I had half a drink, like a half finished cup of coffee, left to go get some fruit or something, and came back and my table was fully clean. I'm like, I'm still here. So I have to remember next time, like, bring a jacket or something that's not important to me that I can leave at the table to indicate I'm still eating here. There's one time I did leave my bag though, and a server stood at my table until I came back. Like, I came back and I realized, like, why is he sitting there? Oh, he's like making sure my bag was safe. That was cool. But generally I took my bag with me, and it was, yeah, they were uber efficient to the point of, like, I was slightly annoyed. I wasn't finished. The flip side of that though is that the officers, like the people they did not look at us, they did not smile at all. It's so weird, such a weird dichotomy that the people who are like serving you, the housekeeping staff, everyone smiles, hello, nice to see you, have a good day. But if someone walking around in officer uniform ignored me like I wasn't even there. And I was like, but you're like a higher up. Is it everyone else's job to make me feel invited and welcome? Am I annoying to you? Do you like actually want to be here? That's how I felt, and I noticed it every day. I was so used to the staff and like the housekeeping, the people who were cleaning and maintaining the ship, and the servers and whatnot speaking to me, that I would look at the officers or I don't know if they were officers, I'm assuming they were. Not one time did I get a hello or nothing. I went down to guest relations. There were 3 women there working who were standing at the desk, all clicking away, doing something, who were ready to serve me. 2 of them looked at me, looked down, and started talking to each other so they wouldn't have to talk to me. It felt like I was not used to that. I'm going to give the staff and service like a 3, and that may have been the case on other cruises. I was more aware of everything that was going on because I was trying to soak in the experience to share it with you all. But yeah, wasn't a fan. So we're gonna give the staff and service a 3. I did put that in my review. That does not matter to everybody. I get that. This is my review. I was really impressed by the food. Oh, so staff is a 3. Yeah, I'm all over the place, people. So sorry. All right, next, let's talk about dining. I was a big fan of the dining on this vessel. All of the food that I had tasted good, from the main dining room to the buffet, to Mosaic, to Bora. Those are the 4 places that I ate. 6:15 and 7:30, that was most popular dining time. So when I would go like right at 5:30, 5:45, I was quickly seated. And every time I was able to sit by myself, they gave me the option to sit with people or to eat alone. I always ate alone, always had a nice time, and I was always seated. I think the first night I waited like 30 seconds to be seated. Every other time I went, I was seated immediately. Also, the food was really, really good. And you got real restaurant portions. Like one of the things that I've noticed on any other cruise I've been on is that it's like a little bit less food. You can order more of it, but it just was not a lot. So I would leave hungry. I would leave like within a couple hours wanting more food. You know, it's like, oh, that's just how it goes on cruise ships. No, I had shrimp linguine one night, or shrimp scampi linguine, and it was so good, and I couldn't even finish the plate. The food was so amazing. And one night, the service was so efficient, and I didn't want dessert, so the woman who was overseeing the restaurant that night, she's at the front, and she's like, ladies, me and someone else, you're leaving so early, is everything okay? Did you have a good experience? Yeah, everything was great. I'm just trying to get to a show. I didn't do dessert. If you want, we can send dessert to your room. I was like, no. It's totally cool. That was really neat. I think the one thing I didn't like that they could do better is they would just offer you water, and then the sommelier would come by and offer wine, but I wanted tea or lemonade and no one ever offered me that. Like, I just want ever. I don't know. It was weird to me that they didn't offer that. Like, you want me to drink water or wine? Can I get a lemonade? In that sense, they were a little too rushed, but I felt well taken care of as well. They were always checking on us, not like too often to where I was like, leave me alone, but just enough. Always making sure you go. And being solo, I still got a full bread service. Carnival, they serve you one piece. You ask for two, but you're not going to get more than 2 pieces of bread. They didn't skimp. They weren't stingy. So it was like, we have enough. We're inviting you to this amazing experience here. Eat to your heart's content or not at all. So that was the main dining room. Ocean View Cafe, I liked it a lot, but the food was never quite hot. I don't think this is a unique experience to Celebrity or to me. You guys tell me if you've noticed this on other cruise ships. Please share your thoughts. But the food was tasty. Don't get me wrong. Like, they had these chicken spring rolls one day and this beef teriyaki. Chef's kiss, like, so stinking good. And they had so many different unique options. You could have grilled steak or pork chops or grilled chicken or grilled fish every single day. And the grilled steak was good. Like, you could cut it, because they only have butter knives in there, and you cut it with a butter knife. I mean, it was like fall off the bone tender, but it was so good. They had a carving station. They would have a chef special station. They had Latin. They had Indian food options every day. They had pasta and pizza every time. Really cool, nice, good. Their desserts were actually good, but everything was lukewarm. I did not like that at all. I didn't like it at all. And I also didn't like that they moved my food so fast, but that was Celebrity's commitment to clean. That was their commitment to clean. In the evening, like when they would have the snacks, late night snacks until 1, from like 10 to 1, I would go in and see people playing board games or just sitting and chatting and having their coffee. It was just so nice. Like, people were just really enjoying themselves. And I did go for late night pizza every night. Every night I would get pizza and a dessert. I loved it. Mosaic experience and Bora experience. Mosaic, it was $95 and I ain't mad at it. I will do it again and again and again. The food was so good. The service was excellent. And like, you get this appetizer, you get your entree, and you get a dessert. But between like them taking your order, they gave me like this lamb prosciutto, which I've never had that before, with some sauce. It was so stinking good. And then they had this great bread service. I had my meal, and then I have a separate video of reviewing Mosaic. And then before my dessert, they had all these little treats, and then I had my dessert and it was super good. And then the next day they gave me a treat of chocolate covered nuts to say thank you for visiting. And I was like, I love it. It was so, so good. I ate at Le Grand Bistro. I forgot that on the very first day for lunch. The food was so good. The service was great. It was super relaxing. It was kind of loud because it was right next to the Grand Plaza, and I wanted a quieter experience. It was $30, and the amount of food that I got for $30 was fantastic. Bora, food was great. I did not like where I was sitting. I was sitting in a drafty area. It was like very much a little small cafe feel, but the servers were rushing around. I thought that was the only restaurant where I felt forgotten. It was interesting because I was sitting next to a couple who came to Bora. They went because so many people had raved about it, and they didn't have a great experience either. Also didn't like the dessert options there. I got the affogato, but that was like the only one that looked good to me. But the food was fantastic. And they had someone always playing acoustic music in there, doing a set of acoustic guitar. And that was neat, but they were rushed. And it was, I think they even sat me at the wrong ladies' table. And I hated where I was sitting because it was where everyone was entering. And that's one of the things about when you're eating solo, you tend to be seated next to the kitchen or an entrance or outro spot where there's like high traffic going on. But it was super high traffic-y. It was just a lot. And it didn't feel joyful to me. So I didn't enjoy Bora. So yeah, the food, I'm definitely gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a solid 4. I don't think I can quite go to 4.5 because the cafe never had hot food. And most of the service was good, but some of it wasn't impeccable. Like I paid $65 for Bora. I should have had a much better experience than I did. But there's that. I put it in the review, people. They didn't ask me any more questions, but they asked about my experiences at the restaurants, and I put it in the survey. So I'm not telling you anything I didn't tell them. Amenities. I thought that the amenities on the ship were pretty cool. So here's some unique things new to me that I experienced on Celebrity. I'm thinking about ship-wide amenities, okay? The first thing that comes to mind is, I know this is random, but the pool valet, they have free locker rentals, free like complimentary sunscreen, complimentary fruit infused water, and complimentary games that you can check out by the pool. This goes kind of with the room, but they had a tote that was free that I didn't know I could take with me, and an umbrella in every single room. The bathroom stuff was really nice. The fact that they had lotion, and of course they have the shampoo. They have shampoo and conditioner and body wash, not a body wash / shampoo. So that was really nice. They have a cleanup and a turn down service, which I love. I love that on Disney. I love that on this cruise. It was so nice to have your room set and prepared for you in the evening. So the fitness center was nice. It wasn't massive, but it seemed well appointed. I walked through there briefly. They have a spa with various spa services. They have a salon, a barber shop. The barber shop looked cool and I walked past it. They have fitness classes. Every day they had morning and evening stretches. They had guided meditation. They had a Zumba fitness class one day on one of the pool days. On another of the pool days, they just had like a Latin dance class, which was basically a workout. So yeah, they had some group fitness things that you could do that were included, but they also had paid group fitness classes that you could take. And then of course you have the solarium with the 2 pools. The thing with me for the solarium is that it smelled strongly of chlorine all day long. I could not spend any time in there because morning before anyone got in there and through the evening, it was a very, very strong chlorine smell. The main pool was nice and they had plenty of deck chairs. I found several nooks, like also with the sunset bar, like that area back there. There are so many seating areas there. There is a smoking section back there, but you don't smell the smoke everywhere. Let's see, we got the spa and then also the in-room amenities. You've got the television. They had free movies. They had free movies, which was great. Royal Caribbean didn't. That's the only cruise line I've been on so far that didn't have non-paid movies on Utopia of the Seas, but everywhere else, all of the movies actually that were available were free of charge. I don't know if it's just because it was a maiden voyage or what. Maybe that'll change. If you've been on Celebrity Cruises where you have to pay for the movies, let me know. I remember Carnival had some paid, some non-paid, and then Disney just had an assortment that were all free, a limited assortment. I really liked what they offered. Yeah, I liked it. So for amenities, I'm gonna give it, this is gonna sound weird. I'm gonna give it a 4 because for me, amenities are connected to included entertainment, and we're gonna talk about entertainment next. No, I'm gonna be more generous. I'm going to give it 4.25. We'll see, I might come back to that. We're gonna talk about entertainment and activities next. Yeah, we're gonna, because it's, so 4.25 is connected to entertainment for me. I know amenity is like facilities and stuff that they provide, but I'm thinking of the included things that you don't have to pay extra for. Entertainment is included with that. So here's the deal. Entertainment with the ship, shows, phenomenal. So good. The singing, the dancing, the shows like that they put on, they were great. Well staged, like the lighting, the effects were great, but they didn't only rely on lighting and effects. Their talent was just stupid good. And I grew up in a musical family. I did chorus and band and all that performing stuff. So I'm not like the most amazing performer, but because of what I did, I had access to and experienced a lot of different shows and performing and seeing what the training should be like. I love going to Broadway shows and stuff like that and musicals. So I know a good show when I see it, and those were fantastic shows. The captain also is a rock star, and so he did a show that was hilarious. It wasn't hilarious. It was like so cool and so novel, so hilarious, and not like, oh, he's ridiculous, but like, what? This is crazy. And it was so fun. I knew none of the music, and I still had such a good time, just like smile on my face, jamming the whole time. The headliners, I didn't see the comedian, but I saw this Whitney Houston tribute by, I think it was Shaza, and then another guy who did like kind of comedy magician stuff, and they were pretty good. It was kind of like on par for other cruise headliner entertainment and stuff like that. I wished that they had more shows from the cruise, and well, okay, they kind of did, but the downside to the entertainment with the shows specifically, we'll get to the other stuff in a second, like daily activities, is in the Bazaar, they had two shows. One during the Aqua Festival and one was Viva, focused on Mexico, because the Bazaar changes based off of where they focus on and what they offer. In the cafe, even in Mosaic, is based off of the ports that you're visiting. So they had one called the Aqua Festival one day. The first sea day was Aqua Festival, and that was based off of the Caribbean because we were in Bimini. So they had Caribbean inspired food and things like that. And then they did a show in the Bazaar. I got to the Bazaar an hour before the show. I did a little arts and crafts thing. And then 40 minutes before the show, I could barely find a good seat. And I was sitting kind of beside the band, behind the performers. Behind them, the sound was horrible. It was all muffled. I couldn't understand hardly anything that they said. So they had really incredible entertainment in the Bazaar, but it was hard to enjoy it. For the shows, they had the main stage, and then they had that area for another performance, and it wasn't big enough for enough people to enjoy it. And I like a cruise that highlights the cruise staff more. I would have taken another main theater show. I would have taken the people who performed in the Bazaar being able to be on the main stage and do their own thing. Like, it would have been cooler to see them in a bigger area. I just wish that I would have loved to have seen the Bazaar performers have a better place to perform, honestly. But yeah, I didn't like that. The entertainers that they had around the cruise, so like in the Bazaar, at Bora, trying to think, their band, the Octaves, 5 octaves or 8 octaves, I think they call themselves the 5 octaves. They played during the sail away party, and then they would play in the Grand Plaza and sometimes in the club. I didn't go to the club ever for any of the things, and I was so mad at myself by the end of the trip because I was like, this is such a cool place, but I had a great time and I was busy. I came home tired, even though I rested so much on that cruise, I thought. And as far as entertainment, they always had, I would have liked to have seen a little more music on the pool deck at some point. Like, we had some kind of dance, something going on the sea days, but it would have been cool to have a little bit more live music. Not all the time, because honestly on Carnival, it's overkill. It's loud music, all stuff going on almost all the time, or a movie. Disney, there's always a Disney movie playing on the pool deck, but you can get into the adult space and like kind of get away from that. You have the solarium. There are multiple tiers to the pool deck on Celebrity, so I wish they had a little bit more out there. I really would have liked some live music on a sea day from like 2 to 4. I think that would have been super cool. They also had a decent amount of activities going all day. Every day it's in that cruise app, the Cruise Navigator app, but also they would give you a little booklet every day that showed every single activity they had on the ship. They would have trivia, they had interactive games in the club, they had the evening, morning stretches and stuff like I mentioned, some paid classes that you could do. They noted when the festivals were going on, so the Viva Festival for Mexico and the Aqua Festival celebrating the Caribbean, and highlight things that you do. They had cultural talk. They would have talks about the sea days. So there was more going on than what I even expected there to be. So I'm going to give entertainment and activities a 4. I wanted more of the ship performers. I really did. Oh, they had the Shine the Night festival thingy. They had an 80s party. They had a country music party where you could like go and learn line dancing. They had the Shine the Night. I think that was Wednesday night, the night before the last one. Yeah. And then they had movies on the deck every night. I think that they did a pretty good job with entertainment, but it's not the loud, rowdy. I wanted a little bit more life on the pool deck. That's like the hub and the heart of a Caribbean cruise is the pool deck. And I felt like life. Oh, but hold up. They did have pool games going sometimes. Like they did pool volleyball and stuff like that. I want a little bit more, like a little taste, a tiny taste more of a daytime party on the pool deck. That's just me. So yeah, I'm gonna give entertainment and activities a 4 because I want more of the stage performers and I want more of a party on the pool deck, just like a tiny bit more. I only got one dance party opportunity on the pool deck in the daytime, and I don't think that that's sufficient, people. Now on to the room. Start off with the room in general. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful room. It was fresh and very clean. I loved the nooks and spaces to store things. There was a lot of good storage space, like 6 drawers, a whole little cabinet of shelves. You've got your closet. The bathroom had 2 sides of shelving and like lots of shelving space on the bottom. And then if you had you had plenty of space to store stuff. Not plenty of outlets though. So they had the little outlet box on the vanity, and then one side of the bed had outlets and USB ports, but the other side of the bed in my room did not. And it was a 2-person room. There was the full little lounge couch and a king size bed. So they need more outlets. Like, how do you not have enough outlets? Because people like to charge their stuff by their bed at night. Like that's the time where my phone gets charged. And they did have bedside vanity, like little end tables that were good and lamps. The lighting, it was cool. You can control the lighting from your phone or the wall. You control the television from the app. I was not a fan of the infinite veranda because when I sat, if you're sitting down in one of the chairs and you let the window down, you have 2 panes of glass, and my glass was dirty the entire time. They never cleaned it. And if you cruise regularly, you know that typically they have a day where they clean all the windows on the ship. Every single cruise I've been on, my window has been cleaned at least once, not on this one. And that was weird. So I could not see the ocean through the double pane like I wanted to. So I didn't really keep it down. It was nice to have that extended space in the room. I did sit over there and have coffee and a treat one day. I would have rather had just like a standard balcony. I wasn't a fan, but the room was beautiful. The bed though, because this is the first time I was not upset. This is the first time where I was like, I wish that more people had slept in this bed before me. It was so hard. And I thought maybe it's just me, but when I was on the shuttle on the way back to get to my car after disembarkation, there was a lady who's like, yeah, the bed was so hard. Her name was Karen. Hey, Karen. She's so sweet. We had a nice chat. I met the best people that I vibed with the most on the disembarkation day. Typically I sleep on one side of the bed, and the last night, not full night, the night before the last night, I was like kind of in the middle of the bed, and I was like, I woke up with my back hurting. I was like, why is my back hurting? Oh my goodness, because I ventured into the right side of the bed and I had just been on the left. It was so weird. The staff, they do the turn down service. They clean up your room in the daytime, turn it down in the evening. That being said, I really had an amazing time. I loved it. I do believe that they can do problem solving better. They can give a little bit more life to the party on those sea days. Honestly, I feel like they need to lean in more into their own talent. So if you've done another celebrity cruise, let me know. Is what I'm sharing similar to what you experienced? If you cruise on the Celebrity Xcel, jump in those comments. Be nice though, and share what you were going through, like what you experienced, not what you were going through. Did you enjoy it? Did you agree with me on some things? What are some tips that you have for people enjoying this? And I have also done a tour of the ship that came out just before this video. So I was kind of thinking about doing like a tips and hints on like how to enjoy the cruise or just unique things to know. Okay, so we've got to give the overall score. So normally, like with my hotel reviews, I do like ambiance and vibes of the location, but that's ship for this one. So out of a total of 30 palm trees, i.e. stars, Celebrity Xcel maiden voyage, my review and experience, I'm giving it a 24.25 palm trees out of 30 for an overall 80%, and that is very good. 80 and above, just really good. 90 is like superb, couldn't have been better. I feel like it would have to be the uber luxury cruise maybe for me to give it a 90. We'll see. This was a fantastic ship. It was a fantastic time. I very much enjoyed it. It was really good. There were things that kind of rubbed me a little wrong, like I've gone over that, but if you want a good time, a nice relaxing experience with things to do, a space that you can enjoy with your family on a beautiful ship with really beautiful people who are really just there to make sure you have a good time, I would say that this cruise, you couldn't go wrong with it. Yay! So good job, Celebrity Xcel. I liked it. It was my first celebrity cruise. I have seen reviews that were not quite so favorable, but hey, I was as honest as I could be. Y'all heard I think wasn't all roses. I will be back. I am planning a return in 2027. 2026 is booked. I'm trying the Celebrity Beyond next year, but I will most likely be back on the Xcel, hopefully sometime in 2027. So that being said, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something helpful, and on to the next video. On to the next cruise adventure or review. I'm in my cruise era. I've gotten my vlogging legs under me, so hopefully the content gets better and better from here. But I really appreciate you tuning in. It's been a pleasure, a true pleasure, if you couldn't tell, sharing this information with you guys. So remember, a life well lived is a life well traveled. So travel well, my dear, and we'll catch up in the next video. Bye.